Let me tell you something, Bears Nation. There are moments in sports that define an era. The 1985 Super Bowl shuffle, the drafting of Walter Payton, the hiring of Mike Ditka. And then there are moments that completely break an era. Moments so seismic, so painful, and so utterly avoidable that you remember exactly where you were and what you were doing the very second you heard the news. This is one of those moments. Because right now, as these words leave my mouth, the Chicago Bears, George Halas's team, the pride of the Windy City, the Navy and Orange institution that has called the shores of Lake Michigan home for over a century, are packing their bags. And no, they are not heading to the Chicago suburbs. They are not heading to Arlington Heights. They are heading across the state line, a line that, once crossed, may never truly be uncrossed. Adam Schefter, the most connected man in professional football, the guy who gets the text messages that literally change the sports world, dropped an absolute bombshell. It confirmed what so many of us feared was coming, but prayed would never actually arrive. A source deep inside the Bears organization sent Schefter a message that read, in no uncertain terms, that the move to Hammond, Indiana is not a bluff. It is not a negotiation tactic. It is not leverage. It is a done deal in the making. And the most gut-wrenching part of that message? The 4 words that sum up years of political failure, bureaucratic paralysis, and breathtaking incompetence. Illinois blew it. The politics, according to that inside source, are absolutely unbelievable, and not in a good way. Now, before we go any further, let us be crystal clear about what has actually happened here, because the full picture is even more infuriating than the headline. The Chicago Bears Board of Directors has formally voted to advance their stadium development project in Hammond, Indiana. This is no longer a rumor. This is not a trial balloon to see how the public reacts. Bears Chairman George McCaskey and CEO Kevin Warren released an official statement confirming the vote. For the first time in this entire saga, which has been dragging on for years across multiple cities and multiple proposals, the Bears board actually put a pen to paper and voted on a stadium site. And the site they voted on was not in Illinois. It was not in Chicago. It was in Indiana. The Hammond mayor, Thomas McDermott Jr., is not acting like a local politician just fishing for media attention. He is acting like a man who already has the keys to the building in his pocket. He stood up at a city council meeting and told his constituents, plain and simple, that Hammond is going to be the new home of the Chicago Bears. You do not say that on the record in public to the people who elect you unless you genuinely know it is happening. Bears President Kevin Warren has already made personal visits to Hammond to scout potential sites. The Lost Marsh Golf Course near Wolf Lake is reportedly among the properties under serious consideration. The heavy machinery is moving, the gears are turning, and Illinois is just watching from the sideline, having fumbled the ball on the 1-yard line with the Super Bowl trophy in plain sight. So, how on earth did we get here? How does a franchise with over a century of deep-rooted history in one city end up voluntarily choosing to pack up and leave? The answer, as painful as it is to admit, is simple. Illinois politics failed the Chicago Bears at every single turn. The Bears came to the table with a serious, well-funded, legitimate plan. They purchased land in Arlington Heights for $300 million out of their own pockets. They proposed a massive $5 billion stadium project, pledging to cover the overwhelming majority of the costs through private financing. They asked the state for exactly one thing: fiscal certainty. Not a handout, not a blank check, just the regulatory and financial framework to make private borrowing work. Indeed, the Illinois General Assembly could not manage to pass a single piece of enabling legislation before adjourning their spring session. Not one. The House went home to the summer without taking a vote, leaving the Bears with absolutely no path forward in the state. and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, whose office released a statement after the Hammond announcement that somehow had the audacity to call the news not surprising, spent years demanding that the Bears assume responsibility for nearly $500 million in outstanding debt from the 2002 Soldier Field renovation. That renovation debt belongs to the city of Chicago, not to the Bears. The Bears did not borrow that money. The Bears did not mismanage those funds. And yet, the city's position was essentially, if you want to build a new stadium in our city, you take on our old debt first. If that sounds like a negotiating position designed to fail, it is because it was. And now, Chicago will pay the price, not just for decades, but potentially forever. Here is what makes the Indiana offer so compelling and so incredibly hard for a business to walk away from. Indiana did not dither. Indiana did not form committees to study other committees. Indiana state legislators stepped up and passed Senate Bill 27, creating the Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority, a body with the actual legal power to issue bonds, acquire land, and finance stadium construction. The state of Indiana committed up to $1 billion in public funding toward the project. The Bears would invest $2 billion of their own money. In exchange, the Bears would lease the facility from the Stadium Authority and after 40 years would have the option to own it outright. That is a serious, structured, legally authorized deal. Compare that to Illinois, which had years to craft a competing offer and produced nothing but expired legislative sessions and political finger-pointing. Indiana showed up. Illinois did not. Now, let us acknowledge the complications, because this is a highly complex situation. The proposed Hammond site near Wolf Lake is an industrial area with massive potential environmental challenges. Some reports have already flagged the possibility of contaminated land, heavy remediation costs, and the kind of infrastructure hurdles that make bankers extremely nervous and project timelines completely unpredictable. Building a world-class stadium on what may be a former industrial site is not a trivial undertaking. And beyond the dirt and the concrete, there's something deeply emotional about the zip code change, something that simply cannot be measured in dollars and cents. The Bears are not just a football team. They are woven into the very fabric of Chicago's identity in a way that transcends sport. They are the South Side tailgates and the North Side sports bars. They are the frozen Sunday afternoons at Soldier Field when the wind off Lake Michigan cuts through your winter coat like a knife, and somehow you love every second of it because it is yours. That connection is real. That loss is real, and no amount of practical business justification makes it feel any less painful. But here is the cold, hard truth that Bears Nation has to confront. The organization did not make this decision casually. They spent years, hundreds of millions of dollars, and immeasurable political capital trying to make it work in Illinois. They bought land. They hired planners. They held community meetings. They negotiated, lobbied, and waited. And every single time, the Illinois political system failed to deliver. At some point, a franchise has to make a business decision. At some point, the McCaskies, who are not exactly known for bold, dramatic gestures, decided that waiting for Springfield and Chicago to get their act together was no longer a viable strategy. That moment apparently has arrived. Before we dive into what this means for the roster, I want to take a quick second to talk to you directly. We put an immense amount of hard work, sleepless nights, and genuine dedication into producing documentaries like this for you. Every single subscription is a massive wave of motivation for us to keep grinding and bringing you the truth. If you appreciate what we do, please take a moment right now to hit that subscribe button, like this video, share it with another Bears fan, and leave a comment down below. Let us grow this community together. Bear down, Chicago, even if it hurts right now, even if you're absolutely furious. because the team, the shield, the history, the colors, all of that travels with the franchise. And while the physical address may change, what is happening on the field is about to give Bears fans every reason in the world to stay engaged, stay loud, and stay completely obsessed. Because the roster Ben Johnson has assembled, the weapons he has at his disposal, and the core players he is locking up long-term represent the most exciting football this area has seen in a generation. And nobody represents that explosion of excitement more than a 6'6", 241-pound tight end from Idaho, who just so happens to be one of the most gifted pass catchers in the entire National Football League. We're talking, of course, about Colston Loveland, the 10th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Bears Rookie of the Year, and a player who is on the absolute verge of becoming a superstar at his position. If you think what you saw in his rookie year was impressive, strap yourself in, because Ben Johnson just told the world that Loveland has not even scratched the surface of what he is truly capable of doing. Let's put those rookie year numbers into context, because they are staggering when you understand what they mean. Loveland led the NFC North champion Chicago Bears in both receptions and receiving yards, hauling in 58 catches for 713 yards and 6 touchdowns. He became the first rookie to lead the Bears in receiving yards since Willie Gault back in 1983, and the first rookie tight end to do so since Hall of Famer Mike Ditka in 1961. Let that sink in for a moment. The last rookie tight end to accomplish what Loveland accomplished was Iron Mike Ditka. That is the kind of company this young man is keeping, and he did it at just 21 years old. And the truly terrifying part for opposing defensive coordinators? He did not even get going until midway through the season. The first half of the year was just a warm-up act. In the final 12 games of the season, including 2 postseason contests, Loveland caught 59 passes for 790 yards and 6 touchdowns. That is production that would make veteran All-Pros envious. In the Bears' playoff win over the Green Bay Packers, he was targeted 15 times and hauled in 8 catches for 137 yards. The kid thrives in the biggest moments, which is exactly the kind of player you want catching footballs from a franchise quarterback trying to build a legacy. He has coached some elite players, and he is singling out a second-year tight end as one of the most consistent players he has encountered anywhere in his career. Then, Johnson went further. He said that Loveland is always in his playbook, always taking notes, and always available in pressure moments. And then he dropped the line that should have every opposing defense losing sleep right now. The route tree, he said, has been taken to the next level, with even more development coming in training camp. Here is why that matters so much. In his rookie year with a more limited route tree, working within the natural learning curve of a first-year player, Loveland was already a top-tier tight end in the NFL. From week 9 onward, he was the second-best fantasy tight end in the entire league, behind only Trey McBride. Now, at an expanded route tree, at a full off-season of chemistry work with Caleb Williams, at the departure of veteran wide receiver DJ Moore, which opens up a massive target share for Loveland heading into the new season. The ceiling on this player is genuinely limitless. Pro Football Focus has already projected him as a potential All-Pro this season. He is the consensus third-best tight end in fantasy football heading into the year, trailing only Brock Bowers and Trey McBride, 2 of the best in the entire sport. At 22 years old, entering year 2, defenses that try to leave Loveland in single coverage are going to get absolutely torched. And when they commit extra resources to stop him, it opens up Rome Odunze, Luther Burden III, and the rest of the Bears' receiving core. That is the beauty of having an elite tight end in Ben Johnson's system. It creates cascading mismatches everywhere on the field. The Bears did not just draft a good player when they selected Loveland 10th overall. They drafted a cornerstone, a franchise-altering talent at a position that will define their offense for the next decade. And speaking of cornerstones, let us talk about the man protecting the blind side of that offense. The man making sure that Caleb Williams has enough time to find Loveland streaking down the seam. The man who is on the verge of signing one of the most important contract extensions the Bears have handed out in years. Darnell Wright, the right tackle, the second-team All-Pro, the quiet enforcer who has been doing his job with machine-like efficiency since the day the Bears drafted him 10th overall in 2023. Yes, you heard that correctly. The Bears drafted the 10th overall pick 3 years in a row, and every single one of them has been a home run. Wright is entering the final year of his rookie deal, and everything coming out of Halas Hall suggests that a massive long-term extension is imminent. Bears insider Courtney Cronin went on record on ESPN 1000's Waddle and Sylvie show and said she expects the deal to be done before training camp even begins. She compared the timeline to how the Bears handled Cole Kmet's extension and DJ Moore's deal, both of which got done in the quiet summer months right before camp. And General Manager Ryan Poles has already publicly stated that locking up Wright is, in his own words, definitely a priority. Why is this extension so absolutely critical? Because Darnell Wright is not just a good right tackle. He is one of the best right tackles in professional football, full stop. His pass blocking win rate ranked in the top 5 among all tackles last season. His run blocking grade from Pro Football Focus checked in among the 10 best defensive tackles in the league. He played in 16 of 17 regular season games while battling through an injury that might have sidelined lesser competitors. And he did all of this while protecting the most important investment the Chicago Bears have made in decades: the health, safety, and confidence of Caleb Williams. There was a time not long ago when Williams was running for his life behind one of the worst offensive lines in professional football. Those days are gone, and a significant reason they are gone is Darnell Wright standing sentinel on the right side, winning bloody battles in the trenches on every single snap, creating the kind of clean pocket that allows a talented quarterback to operate, survey, and deliver. When Wright is dominant, the entire offense flows. When Wright locks down his assignment, Williams has time to go through his progressions, find Loveland on the crossing route, hit O'Dunn's on the back shoulder fade, or hand the ball off to a running back finding massive room through the holes. Wright is blown open in the defensive front. Losing Wright to free agency would be a total catastrophe, the kind of roster mismanagement that haunts franchises for a decade. Ryan Poles has shown time and again that he understands what it takes to build an offensive line that can sustain success. He is not going to let Darnell Wright walk out that door. The money will get done. The extension will happen. And when it does, it will be another signal loud and clear that this front office is building something real, something sustainable, something that has a legitimate chance to bring a Super Bowl trophy back to this fan base. Because that is the ultimate paradox of this moment, Bears Nation. On one hand, we are processing the very real, very painful reality that the franchise is leaving the state of Illinois. A development driven entirely by political failure, by the inability of elected officials to protect one of the most iconic cultural institutions in their state's history. On the other hand, we are watching that exact same franchise assemble one of the most terrifyingly exciting rosters in the NFC. With a generational quarterback, a dynamic offensive architect in Ben Johnson, a rising star tight end who could become the best at his position, and a dominant offensive lineman about to be locked up for years to come. The address on the stadium may change. The zip code may move across a state line. But the hunger, the passion, the undying loyalty of Bears fans, that does not change with the geographic boundary. The Navy and orange bleeds through. The monsters of the Midway mentality persists. And when Caleb Williams is dropping absolute dimes to Colston Loveland in a brand new world-class stadium, with Darnell Wright manning the trenches and Ben Johnson cooking up schemes that defensive coordinators cannot solve, wherever that stadium happens to be located. Bears Nation will be there. Loud, proud, and hungry for a championship that is more within reach right now than it has been in 4 decades. The Bears are not done. They are not defeated. They are not broken. They are, in fact, just getting started. And the best football this franchise has played since 1985 may be right around the corner. Before I let you go, remember that a documentary like this requires an incredible amount of hard work and dedication from our team. We do this for the community, and every subscription gives us the motivation to keep digging deeper. So if this story fired you up, if it made you feel the rage at the politicians or the pure excitement for this roster, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to Chicago Bears Voice so you never miss a single update on the stadium or the team. Share this video and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Are you riding with the Bears to Indiana, or does the move break your heart too much? Let me hear you. Bear down always, no matter where we play.